They told me ADHD was a deficit. They said it meant I couldn't focus, couldn't finish projects, and I would always chase the next shiny object. But while the rest of the world is fast asleep, I learned how to make my... Wait, what was I saying? Oh, right. ADHD is my superpower. If you didn't catch my last video, I have ADHD. I said it about 14 times. I was vibrating like crazy, but that's okay because I've made ADHD my superpower. What does that mean even? Well, it means that I've taken all the constraints that I have with ADHD, all the deficits that I have, and turned them into strengths. Now, that's what this video I'm hoping to talk about. We're going to try to do this in one shot. So I'm going to bring you along with me. And hopefully you learn a lot along the way so that you can make ADHD your superpower. Or even if you don't have ADHD, that's okay. I show you structures. I'm going to show you structures. I'm going to show you different applications that I've created that will hopefully get you inspired to build different structures of for yourself, because structure is important to get things done, especially when you're trying to build at 3 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, a.m. is the morning, so I didn't have to add that part. Okay, we're doing good so far. So, what are some of the deficits that you run into with ADHD? Well, you come up with distractibility. So often while I'm working, I just kind of have an idea like squirrel and just jump into a different thought process. Now, often I love those thought processes. They are problem solving. It's like my brain is always trying to solve a big problem that's in the back of my head. And when I'm doing something mindless, like admin work, for example, then it'll come up with a solution for that. And I used to try to focus through it and to try to distract myself with it. But now I actually try to, I'm going to move this camera, but I'm actually try to capture that. And I can. See, technology has made life a lot easier. It finally can move at the speed of my brain. Sorry if it's all shaky, but so technology can move at the speed of my brain. Now, what I do is I created a whole bunch of apps that I mentioned earlier that I can actually take and voice talk. Sorry, I just need a little coffee right now. So I've created all these apps that I can just speak into and use AI to elaborate on my ideas. You know what? It's probably easier just to show you. So I have this website called familylock.ca. This is just my own personal website. This is my playground, I guess, because I can build a whole bunch of apps and then I develop them into more apps for other people. So as you can see, I got the word and spirit. You know what? We'll start there because God is number one in my life. I say that all the time. You can see here, I'll just jump to my 3 a.m. CEO website and we'll go to the About Us and I'll just go through my priorities real quick. So we'll start with God. God is my number one in my life. I'm not going to be trying to tell you too much about God, but one thing that I always want to do is learn and memorize scripture. So I created this word and spirit. I'm not very good at memorizing scripture, and as you can tell, I don't use it very often. But one thing with my ADHD is I always try to gamify a lot of my applications. So what I can do is I come over here to manage and I can upload large chapters. So for example, I got chapter 8 I got chapter 8 input placed in so that I can actually start to memorize it. Now, I did the research, or I got AI to do the research on what is the best way to memorize techniques and to gamify it. And so We can go to the library. Everything's locked here because I need to memorize. For there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. And for the law of the Spirit, I don't remember this one very well. So we're going to have to go back to verse 2. For the law of the Spirit of life has set you free in Christ Jesus from the law of sin and death. I've made it so that I can record my voice and put it on a loop. I made it so that I can train as well. So we can do flashcard style, where it just gives me the first few words, flip it to reveal, and if I need to do it again, then I can do it again. We can do fill in the blanks for the law of the Spirit of the blank blank, and just type it out here and check my answers. I can do a word bank, where I actually just, for the law of the Spirit of the Spirit of, I don't remember it, but Jesus, sure, we'll check it. All right, we got one right. Okay, see, I need to work on my memorization skills. I know ADHD has working memory issues, but I need to figure out a way to get things into long-term memory. Anyways, this is just one of the apps that I built. You can also build it right from the beginning, and it'll time you and so on and so forth. So I create this game. You can see the stats afterwards and see how well you're actually doing. Obviously, I have not done it. So activity over the last 35 days, I've only done it a couple days. I need to become more dedicated to this to get to it, to do things, whatever. Another app that I created is a sermon library. I think this one's really cool. Is I love to write things out and to document all my sermons. Now, one thing that I like to do is I like to listen to the sermons online. I always listen to Oakville, down in Oakville, Ontario, and I listen to my church all the time, Emmanuel Baptist Church in Chatham, and I like to try to make notes of it. Now, when I'm at Emmanuel Baptist Church, I make my paper copy notes, and I haven't been able to get this working quite well for EBC, but how this works is I can actually come here. Oh, I spelled his name wrong one time, but that's okay. It was probably AI that did it. And what you do is you actually add a sermon. So I will take the link of the YouTube link and I put it into Notebook LM, and it'll transcribe everything for me into this sort of, I don't know if you can see my hand, but sermon, main verse, supporting verses, message points, life application, and prayer. And then afterwards, I can throw it in the series that it's actually working in, and I can then, it'll elaborate everything. It'll break everything down for me, just like this. So what I do is I take a transcript, put it into Notebook LM, and I then just copy and paste that transcript that's already templated for me into this app, and it'll create it just like this. As you can tell, I haven't used it too much either, mainly because when I listen to my verses, my sermons, I don't have the focus. I'm usually multitasking. I do a lot of multitasking things throughout my day. So I'm often listening to sermons when I'm at work. Now, that's a good segue. Well, we got my family next, so my wife and the boys, William, Wesley, and Wyatt. And I don't have a lot of things for them other than my daily apps and my 12-week year. My 12-week year is pretty cool. So we will set my goals, grow with family. If you don't know what the 12-week year is, I think doesn't matter. I got the book. The 12-week year, essentially by, drawing a blank on his name. But anyways, I will maybe put it up on screen and you can see it then, or I'll put it in the description and you'll be able to see it. But the 12-week year, essentially what it is, if you don't know what it is when we create goals, often we create goals that the most common time that we create goals is right at the beginning of the year. Now, when we create a New Year's goal, a year is way too long, and you often, even if you make it a SMART goal, it's not actionable. And so I think his name is Brian P. Morgan. Oh, it's just going to drive me crazy. Anyways, um, yeah, Brian P. Morgan and Michael Lennington. So 12-week year. It's actually one of the things that changed my life. So this is what started me getting focused and my ADHD structured. This has been a huge development for me. I'm going to create a link and put it down below for another video of a guy that actually explains 12-week year, because I don't want to get into it too much. And he created, I don't know if it's still around, but a Discord channel, because a big thing with the 12-week year is to have accountability with it. And so let's summarize it real quick. You create 12-week year plan of what you want to execute on. I always, with my ADHD and perfectionism and all my other issues and stuff like that, I always go overboard with everything. So I created 4 different goals and push myself with a lot of different tasks. So I want to grow with God, grow with my family, grow with my business, and work on my health. Now, with every one of these tasks, you can you add a value to it. And after you add a value, then you can actually check it off along the way. So you can start to see that you get a percentage by the end of each week. And after you get this percentage, then you can kind of evaluate from week to week how well you're actually doing. Hang on, I'll be right back. I'm going to keep talking though, because I wanted to show you that I've been doing this for a long, long time. So this is where it all started from. This is just the last one that I did, which I kind of gave up on. But I started with setting my goals and dreams. This application that you can see is 100%. You know what? I'm going to get rid of myself. Sorry, one second. Because it'll look better. Where is it? There we go. We want to go with just a second monitor. There we go. That way I can introduce myself with this camera here, or I can just have proper B-roll. So we have this right here. You always, even with the 12-week year that you can see up here on screen, you want to set your goals. You want to set, yeah, so set your goals, come up with, so I want to regularly pray and study, regularly serve, and regularly worship and review. So always come up with your goals first. I'm missing a page, but that's fine. I'm ranting too much about this 12-week year. So this is actually one of the apps that I do to help stay focused, or at least come up with my daily schedule. I had it just in paper format for the longest time. Actually, I'm not missing pages. That's okay. So we break down our goals a little bit more into details. And then you go into your, sorry, apparently I had 5 goals at this point. And then you go into your weekly scorecard and create your tasks and things like that. And give your values for your tasks, and then you check them off as you go. But I had it on paper forever and carry it with me at all times, but I thought that that's just too cumbersome. I can't carry it with me at all times. It's just not practical, so that's why I made it into an app. So that's my 12-week year. What other apps do we have? So that would be more for my family and for God and work and business and everything that I have combined. So that really covers all my priorities. But we talked about God, and those are that's my priorities for my wife and my children. and work. Now, work, I created this app called Fieldbase. One of the big struggles that I had while I was working, while I'm working, is that I'm in IT and facilities. I have to go everywhere and fix everything that anybody has a problem with. And I would carry a piece of paper with me and try to write it all down, but it's too cumbersome. So I created this app here, which is a Kanban board. You can kind of drag everything in and drop it into whatever location that you need. But you can fill out, uh, you can actually, I did create one version with AI as well, so I could just talk into the app and it'll prioritize everything for me, or not prioritize, but it'll section everything for me into the actual task so that I can create the tasks, the to-do list that I have for my week. I can then go on and, as you can see, star some things like this, and then we can go to focus, and that's what I'm going to focus on for the day. I can easily go to the overdue, see what's overdue. We can jump over to see our dashboard. I am not managing stress very well, and so my tree is not growing well at all, as you can see. Now, the cool thing about this is that you can also take this and, where is it? I forget where it is. I'm losing my mind today. We can go to, what am I doing? Oh, yeah. So today's focus, and then you can actually print out all the tasks that you're doing as well. So I thought that was pretty cool. That's a great way for me to stay focused at work and keep me from really spiraling. My latest app that I've created was a goal architecture. I realized that I'm doing a lot of things, but I'm not really working towards my goals. My 12-week year is very helpful with that. However, I'm still struggling with what I want to accomplish in life. My 3 a.m. CEO is just building this all in public so that you can see. So I did a big study in my therapy. My therapist told me to come up with my values, and then come up with goals based off my values. Now, when we leave something a little bit vague like that for me, then I will overdo it and do 30-year goals and 15 and 5 and 3 and whatever. I created way too many goals, but as you can see, I didn't fill out very many of them. I did my 30-year goals, and then I just got completely overwhelmed. And then I realized that the way that I coded this, I can actually jump into my 1-week goals and start checking those off as well. So as you can see, I'm trying to shoot the 3 a.m. video about ADHD, and that's what we're talking about today. So we can talk about, so you set first your values, and then you have your core values, and then I put supporting values as well. For me, that's more of, they were, excuse me, they were, it's kind of like how I define what the core value is. The cool thing about this is that you can see how many goals I've created based off those values. And then you can create identity statements with that. So the important thing about goals is, and there's been studies, this is what my therapist was saying, is that there's a lot of studies that have actually shown that joy and happiness, you get a lot of joy and happiness when you're able to define your values in life, what's most important to you. And when you're able to build goals and work towards those goals. Now, I'm very much all or nothing, and then I'm very much self-deprecating person. So when I set goals, I often have it where, let's go back to our goals here. I often have a goal like this, and then I would get very upset with myself that I never accomplished the goals. So making a SMART goal for myself is not very helpful. First of all, I don't like SMART goals. I don't think they're very actionable. That's why when I learned about the 12-week year, that made my life a lot better because I actually was able to learn how to make something actionable to work towards that goal. But still at the end, I found that I struggled with the fact that, okay, I did not read Proverbs 19 to 25 this week. I instead got distracted and did not finish it, and then I would be upset by it. But when I turned it into, with the 12-week year again, focusing on a percentage for the week, then it made it a lot better for me. It made it more, I guess, less black and white that I accomplished or I did not accomplish a goal, and helped me step back a little bit so that I could actually see a bigger picture of, okay, I did not accomplish one goal, but I accomplished this in its entirety, and all these work towards that big goal. So I guess the better way to explain it is that I might not have accomplished, instead of these being goals, they're tasks that are towards my 30-year goal. So these goals here are really just tasks, check off tasks that work towards my 30-year goal of what's really important and valuable to me. I hope that makes sense. With this, you can also build habits. Now, I just built this app, that's why it's not filled out too much. Excuse me. But wake up at 3 a.m. I want to do that 3 times a week. So yes, I do have here my timetable. This is my ideal timetable, but I don't have that kind of time most of the days with my ADHD and MDD. I'm my depressive disorder. Then I'm often sleeping in. I'm often struggling. I'm often just not able to stay focused for the 3 hours every single morning. So yeah, that's why I set a goal of, or a habit of waking up at least 3 times a week. And I would like to increase that as it goes on. Today was successful. I got up at 2, actually, mainly because I had to go outside to my smoker, smoking briskets and pulled pork for some friends, which is going to be great. Anyways, so that's my goal urge. Another thing that I created was what's called the therapy vault. So I can actually go in and voice record and just brain dump everything that I want into this app. It will log the session for me. And then the nice thing about it, let's see if I have one that I'm okay with sharing. So focused and lost here. It'll actually break it down into the different parts if you take IFS. So internal family systems, which I find incredible. There's a really cool podcast with Andrew Huberman going into IFS. That's what made me learn about it. And then I found a therapist that actually focuses on that as well. And, but anyways, the brain dump, I can just verbally diarrhea all this here, and then it'll summarize the notes for my therapist. So then I can talk about what I was really ranting about. So that's the nice thing about the therapy vault. I can, with everything, change themes, and that's just because I like to do that kind of stuff. It's more fun for me. It explains the IFS terms. Yeah. This again is just my playground, so it's not the best, but we have daily ops. We have my little character that you actually evolve and so evolution path, try to get yourself into a soldier or knight, sacred warrior. So this is just a to-do list essentially. So you can create your to-do list and you can gain some trophies. And so I gamified a to-do list. Anyways, these are just some of the things that I've created, ways that I can take my ADHD weaknesses and turn them into strengths. Excuse me. I found that I got distracted so quickly, that especially when I'm doing admin work, then I would come up with an idea and now I can record it. Now I can add it into my to-do app, and stuff like that. I found that, so I do have an eating disorder as well. And with my eating disorder, then I hyper obsess about food and exercise. So I created what's called the battle board, which is pretty cool. It's kind of like a bingo thing where you can actually earn tokens and randomizers. So if you don't like, okay, close grip push-ups, okay, so then I can use the randomizer and it'll randomize into something different, and it works every week. And you can do learn more and do what this is, and it's got videos and stuff like that. So it's just kind of gamified my workouts. It makes it a lot less um, a lot less pressure to actually work out. You try to earn some tokens. You can see your progress, upload your progress photos. You can earn badges, and you can actually add hyper like habits and health, or how well you want your health additions kind of thing. Um, so nutrition, sleep, mental health, and stress. So it adds all those into the board. Um, so I'll regenerate the board here. So then you can also record your 1 rep max. So that'll give you proper explanation of what it is. So digital detox here. Yeah. So you can go to digital detox and, okay, no devices after 8 p.m. That's really not for me, very specific for me. But anyways, so I created these apps that help me to really focus, or not necessarily focus, but when I do have my deficits of jumping all over the place, then I can refocus into an area, or I can at least go down that, and so I can record it. In other words, I guess once it's recorded, then I don't have to worry about it anymore. I can then go on and continue doing my mundane tasks of admin work. Um, and yeah, so I guess the point of this video is I want to encourage you to figure out what works for you. Build the structure around your deficiencies. For me, it was easily distractible. I have such a creative mind that, working a non-creative job sometimes, I guess half the time my job is not creative, it really saps my energy. And so listening to sermons while I'm doing the non-creative stuff really helps. And then I can actually still grow the way that I want to grow. And I can still push myself the way that I want to push myself. And I can still, um, you know, get to where I want to be in life by generating these apps that change my life. And so I encourage you to drop a comment down below. And if you have an idea, if you don't know how to create an app, then I can help you with that. In the next few videos, I'll show you how to actually generate one of these apps so that you can do it yourself. Most of these apps did not take me very long to vibe code because of the strategy that I have. I have what I think is a pretty killer strategy on how to actually implement these and get it working. And so I will teach you that in later videos as well. That's the whole point of my 3 a.m. CEO, building in public. And so I want to make sure that you guys can learn the tools that I build as well. Later on, I'll get into all these apps, and I'll be showing you other things that I built as well. But right now, I think my playground website is good enough. I hope that you're able to be encouraged, and I hope that you're able to help build some structure in your life. You are loved. Peace.